whole hunting game. Cody.
First one I've shot in a long time.
Welcome to the Management Advantage. On today's show, we're going to be discussing quail management. Also going to carry on a fantastic hunt with Glenn Garner at Rocky Branch Plantation. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Management Advantage, gaining the advantage through proper land management with your host, Chuck Sykes, who is dedicated to sound wildlife management practices and principles that will help both sportsmen and landowners get the optimum potential from their land. Sponsored by Realtree, the camouflage revolution begins here. Holland Grill, nothing else stacks up. Motorola, share your adventure. The Whitetail Institute of North America. Deer Nutrition is all we do. Augusta Turf and Specialty Vehicle, the exclusive home of the Team Realtree Edition Easy Go Workhorse ST480. Arsenal by BASF, the Lodge of Louisiana. Your local Dodge dealer, grab life by the horns. The Easy Go Workhorse ST480 and the BASF Vegetative Group.
General rules I like to follow while I'm in the field. One being the dog. We want to make sure they're safe at all times. This simply means when the dog goes on point, everybody with a gun, there'll be one on the right, one on the left. Keep the gun straight up, not pointed towards the ground, not pointed level. Make sure it's straight up. This being when the bird's flush, the dog is completely out of the picture. You take the gun down to the bird, shoot the bird, and everything's safe. While we're walking through the field, if you're shooting over and under, I would ask you to keep it broke open, 2 shells in it, just ready, because you trip and fall, something might go off. Automatic's going to be kind of hard to do that, with all the jacking of the emptying of the shell. We need to keep it loaded and pointed up at all times. The guy on my right will have the shooting zone from noon to 3. The guy on my left will have noon to 9. Behind shots will be limited, mainly because of the buggy and everything in the field today. So we just want to keep all that in mind throughout the day and have a safe hunt. For the whole hunting game. Cody, here.
Here at Rocky Branch, Chuck, we got 13,000 acres, and we are a working farm, so we plant and maintain about 650 acres. And we devote some of it to quail and some of it to deer and turkey management as well. We're set up, we're 1,000 acres solely devoted for our quail operation, and roughly somewhere around 8,300 acres for turkey and whitetail. And we're growing every year. We'll adapt and add more, whatever we feel we need. Right. As far as habitat, we're diverse enough to add and fill in those voids if it be any.
What all, just speaking specifically about the quail where we've been hunting, you've got small bird patches as grain sorghum and sesbania, as well as the winter food plots. About how many acres are you planting for your quail?
Right now we've got about 150 acres for quail, as in patches.
Right.
And it's scattered through the 5,000 acres, and they're small enough where I think all total we have over 500 feed patches through the 5,000 acres. And of course, when you've got it scattered so much, it's hard to keep up with exactly how many plots, but I feel like our numbers tell us about 150 acres to just feed patches for quail.
And you've got it in that 5,000 acres, you've got several different courses set up where a guy can hunt in the morning and he can hunt one area, and then in the afternoon he's hunting another area, and it might take him 2 or 3 days of hunting before he ever sees the same area twice.
That's right, that's right. Our courses were established years ago by Walter Rosine and Clay Sisson, and we've been, ever since they first set the courses up, they've been managed and maintained and fed, whether it be through crops or supplemental feed. So we have a good number of wild birds, and also we supplement birds as we go if we see that we need some.
Right. On the burning program, how many acres out of that 5,000 are you going to burn this year?
Well, we're looking at somewhere around, just on the plantation here, I'd say at least half of it for this year.
There we go. On this week's cooking segment, we're going to show you a simple and easy recipe to cook quail breast and quail leg quarters. I've got 8 quarters and breasts that I've had soaking overnight in teriyaki sauce. I'm going to stick these on the grill, and then I'll come back and show you all the ingredients that you need for your own recipe. All right, now that we've got those on the grill, come over here and let me show you the ingredients that you're going to need. All right, the ingredients that you're going to need for today's recipe are quail breast and leg quarters, crushed pineapple, and teriyaki sauce. 3 simple ingredients that makes a wonderful meal. All we do is take our quail breast and quarters, place them in teriyaki sauce, we place them in the teriyaki sauce, and I like to let them sit in the refrigerator for at least a day. That lets the teriyaki sauce soak in real good. Put a few more of those breast and leg quarters on there. And I want y'all to notice something. This is teriyaki sauce that I've got this marinated in. It is dripping to beat the band. You don't have to worry about anything flaming up. The breasts and leg quarters are not going to catch on fire due to the patented Holland grill that allows no flame up. Now, while our quail are cooking on the grill, the next step is to take some crushed pineapple, put it in a glass bowl, and mix in some teriyaki sauce. You want this to be sitting where as soon as you pull your birds off of the grill, you place them right into this mixture. Take your pineapple, got some crushed and some in chunks, and then we want to pour the rest of our teriyaki sauce. Mix that in, and that just makes for a good sauce. Once we take our birds off of the grill, place them in there. So the quail are cooking nicely, and y'all, I tell you, the only thing more incredible than Mike actually hitting that bird is how good they're going to taste in this teriyaki sauce and pineapple. I believe they're just about ready. Folks, not only are quails real fun to hunt, they're even better to eat. So y'all keep the recipes coming. We appreciate the support. Y'all stay tuned. We're going to finish up the hunt at Rocky Branch with Glenn Garner and Derek Lynch.
Steve, one of the questions that we get is after someone has decided, okay, I do want to put in a food plot, but now what do I put in? Where do I put it? Basically, what am I looking for in a food plot?
That's a great question because there's a lot of choices out there. And traditionally what people have done is planted wheat, rye, and oats as a cool season planting and strictly for attraction for deer. So what people need to decide, do they want to attract deer to their food plots, or do they want to attract and provide quality nutrition with a food plot? What some people will do, for example, plant the cool season wheat, rye, and oats, and they'll come in the spring and maybe plant some beans or peas or something like that, which is not a bad idea, but you're planting twice each year. Plus, you create a gap when you disc your fields up in the spring to plant those spring crops. You're creating a nutritional gap there that's at a very, very important period of time, especially when you've got the beginning stages of antler development going on, the third trimester of pregnancy. So what people can do is they can, with a single planting, for example, Imperial Clover or Alpha Rack, they can plant it in the spring or the fall in most parts of the country, and instead of feeding their deer 6 months a year, say with the cool season or the warm season, again, they feed the deer up to 60 months from a single planting, and it's available all year round, providing extremely high levels of nutrition, protein specifically. So if people will make basically the same investment, they can provide food for their deer up to 60 months without any of those gaps. If they've planted in an area that's got good heavy bottomland soil that will hold moisture, the best choice they can make is Imperial Whitetail Clover. Again, it's the most attractive thing you can plant, the highest nutrition possible, and also it's perennial, lasting up to 60 months. Almost all those same benefits are available with Imperial Alpha Rack. You wouldn't want to plant that on a good soil, but say a well-drained soil, such as a hilltop or hillside, something along those lines. Also, another product that's an annual that we have available is called Imperial No Plow. If you've got an area that's inaccessible with equipment, or you're just late getting started, or you're just new at food plots and you want to kind of stick your toe in the water, if you will, Imperial No Plow is an excellent choice. It's also great to get way back in the woods in a small opening or a logging road or something and create a secret spot that only you and your deer know about. We covered a lot of information today on the management advantage, and if you're interested in getting more information on what we talked about today, deer management in general, food plots, and mineral supplements and the benefits they provide, we're offering a free video and also a sample of Imperial Whitetail Clover for you to try. All you'll do is pay $4.95 for shipping and handling. Call 1-800-688-3030.
There you go. Easy, guys. Go ahead and reload. Whoa, whoa. There he goes. Yep.
Once these start blooming and getting nice, the bugs will be in them for the quail. There's good brooding edge for nesting habitat for the broods to find insects and everything to feed on. And not only that, but once these
and there's
oats,
not too much shade right here for this to really come up.
Oats we found to grow really well in shadier areas.
Oh yeah.
As long as there's moisture and there's sunlight through some of the day, they grow real well, and you know, they enhance the field not only in aesthetic value but the wildlife value. So it's really good for us.
There's the bird right there. There you go. Holy cow. What a covey. What a covey.
They'll actually come in a 12, a 20, and a 28, and then eventually a 410. We're doing both a side plate version, which are false side plates. They're both on a box lock design.
Right.
We've had requests for years for a high value side by side, and we finally found a small maker that could put out the kind of quality that we wanted to put the Weatherby name on, based in Spain.
Well, do you think American hunters are looking for a side-by-side?
It's not a big market, but it's a dedicated market. There are not a lot of options in a side-by-side.
Right.
And well, it's getting back to the roots. I mean, your grandfather started hunting with a
right.
side-by-side. I've never shot one because you can't find
Well,
it.
I hardly had either before this morning, and I found it pretty natural experience.
Seems like you picked
actually.
it up pretty good since
right.
we've been here.
Well, I think I grew up with a side-by-side in a 16 gauge. And I think as guys are, we're getting to be our age, or getting older, and we get a chance to shoot and hunt a little bit. And it's a chance to kind of go back and try something different.
Right.
And of course, if you couldn't afford a Parker, an LC Smith, or a Fox, obviously when we were young, it's a chance to go back. The Spanish and the Italians both make pretty nice side-by-sides. So we're pretty proud of it. We've shown it at some of the major trade shows already, and the response has been real good. And we've kept the guns affordable. That's the key. So many of the good side-by-sides are exorbitantly expensive.
Right.
$5,000, $10,000.
Yeah, you're looking at $1,100 and
Okay.
$1,500 retail.
That's not bad at all. Finding birds everywhere. What all we got planted out here?
Well, Chuck, we've got a little bit of everything. What we found works best for us and grows best in our soils is sorghum. And also, on top of that, we've got sesbania.
All right, now this is sesbania.
Yes.
It looks like coffee weed, but it's not. It's a hard seed-bearing plant, sort of like bicolor, isn't it?
Sort of like bicolor. It's an annual that comes up, and we plant it in these food plots mainly to allow the food source to be plentiful through the hard winter months, which is usually February and March, when your birds are really starting to suffer from loss of food. Not only that, but it allows enough area underneath the plant to find the food. So it's a real good quality management plant to think about planting in your food plots for quail.
Now, one thing I noticed is there's a lot of grain sorghum on the ground.
Yes.
With y'all being a plantation and early releasing birds, you can supplementally feed throughout the season.
Yes, we supplement feed several stations throughout a course. Every course can have anywhere from 15 to 25 feeding sites. I found in feeding these birds in these supplemented feeding areas, in the proper habitat, our predator control, actually our predator loss of birds from predators is a lot less. We've brought these birds into an area where they're safe when they're feeding, and not only that, but it's an abundance of food source for the birds, and we feed as much as we need to ensure our bird health is at the highest quality. So it's a really good management tool also, on top of just our food plot.
Well, and one thing a lot of people don't understand, it even though you are early releasing birds, some of those birds make it through, and they will pair up with wild birds, and you're supplementing your wild bunch. So if you keep the food out, it's getting your hens in better health, keeping them away from predators, carrying more of them through the nesting season, so you're actually replenishing your wild birds.
Oh, absolutely. Every kind of feeding you can do out here to help your early broods or your nesting hens, it's a must a lot in your quail management. It's really going to help you out.
Well, to increase the population, you got to have more chicks, and to have more chicks, you got to carry more hens through the nesting season.
You're absolutely right, Chuck. Along with our food plots, Chuck, we've got prescribed burning as one of our main management tools. As you see here, we've got this area burned off. It allows a lot of our grasses, our native grasses, as far as broom sedge and whatnot, to come back in an abundance to make better habitat, not only for nesting, but for holding these birds throughout the year.
Well, I know on some of our areas, burning doesn't always do the trick. If y'all ever had to come in with a chemical application to get your sweet gums and stuff under control before you come in to burn?
Oh, absolutely. If you've got a real bad hardwood encroachment, sometimes you've got to come in and do a little bit of chemical application to kind of get these things knocked back so that the burn will actually manage the hardwoods. Sweet gums is a fast-growing hardwood, which obviously, after the third year is probably going to be at a level that burning will not handle. So
Arsenal will knock it back where that fire can get a hold to it.
Arsenal is a definite chemical that will absolutely take care and solve all your hardwood as far as sweet gum encroachment, and it's one of the best I feel like on the market today.
One thing, it's not often that you can say there's too many birds. Some of those
Right.
covey rises were
Just
overwhelming.
Right.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah, it was like blackbirds getting up out of there, or a big bunch of grasshoppers jumping up out of there.
I think I was most impressed with the dog work too. They locked up
Beautiful.
tight. There was a
Right.
lot of
Beautiful
really
honoring.
quality honors. Yeah, they've got quite an operation here, and I think some of the things that they're doing with the habitat will pay dividends for a long time.
They obviously know how to grow quail. Man.
Fast ones too.
I thought when I come down here back in September for a dove shoot that I got a lot of shooting, but got a little bit of a sore jaw from all we did today.
We had a lot. We had at least 15, 16, 17 coveys this morning, and
Right, and just as many this afternoon.
no question, no question.
Too many to even count. Just keep on hunting, keep on shooting birds.
Stay tuned. The Management Advantage will be right back.
Wasn't that a fantastic hunt here at Rocky Branch? Glenn and Derek have really got a wonderful program started up here. Now, in addition to the hunt, we also gave you some habitat management tips to help improve the quality of your bobwhite quail habitat on your property. Now, one of the management tips that we talked about just briefly was prescribed burning. Now, next week, we're going to actually take you on the ground and show you how you can use prescribed fire on your property to increase the quality of your wildlife habitat. This is just one more way we're helping you gain the advantage through proper management. We'll see you next week right here on the Management Advantage.
The Management Advantage was brought to you by Realtree. The camouflage revolution begins here. Holland Grill, nothing else stacks up. Motorola, share your adventure. The Whitetail Institute of North America. Deer nutrition is all we do. Augusta Turf and Specialty Vehicle, the exclusive home of the Team Realtree Edition Easy Go Workhorse ST480. Arsenal by BASF, the Lodge of Louisiana. Your local Dodge dealer, grab life by the horns. The Easy Go Workhorse ST480 and the BASF Vegetative Group.